Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Today we're going to do our standard Saturday video, which is a Patreon picks video, which means one of my Patreons picks a song and I check it out. No questions asked, no exceptions so far anyways. And today's comes courtesy of Ken Rumsey, who says he'd like to react. Should react to "Ballad of a Has-Been Beauty Queen" by Brinsley Schwarz. And yeah, like I don't know. I had to look a little bit into this song. I found out it's from the '70s. It is rock stuff. So '70s rock. That's what we're getting into today. Another band that is not on the spreadsheet, so I'm pretty excited about that. Let's see what this Brinsley Schwarz is bringing to the table. Yeah, we got some pretty cool chord textures going on coming in. Sort of a lazy energy driving this. I think a lot of that has to do with the toms. There's a lot of movement, but it's just not pushing as hard as it could be. So we got this nice chill progression going on. Little fill there. It almost feels like some of these instruments are just a little out of time, but I wonder if that's done to effect. A little bit of guitar solo going over this. Dude, the '70s were a wild time because is this fading out? Oh, that's amazing. Now, I know that's not the end of the song. So the song's like 10 minutes long, but... a bit of a country twang in the acoustic. What a wild way to start a song, though. I really appreciate the little nuances that show a human side. I know in the '70s they didn't have stuff like Pro Tools to make sure everything lined up. And you can hear little sections that's like one note, just the bassist might be a little bit late on. Not like perfectly on time, perfectly in time with like the drums or the guitar. I really miss that about older music.
Chipped and broken coffee cup. And from the cracked adobe walls of her office cage, the sound of the parade leaks in.
Yeah, got that organ in there. Not necessarily what I was expecting from a rock band. More of a country thing going on here. Although the intro was definitely rock, so I don't know. We'll see where this song goes.
Crown heads and cars and fruit in jars and diamond rings and things.
Ooh. I loved the shape that he had in his singing line right there.
She's learned to despise what it ever was to be healthy, wealthy.
The whole band's kind of come down for this section, giving the spotlight to the singer. The story is very important to this song, it seems.
What the singer's done wrong. The only thing that never changes.
Starts to open up a little bit. Nice like synergy between the organ or the synth with the drums. That bass is just tearing it up, even though the spotlight's on the guitar right now. Bit of an organ solo. We're gonna see a bass solo after this. Everybody just kind of gets a chance to shine. Nice little drum fill there. Starting to see that chaos a little bit from the beginning crop back up. There's a lot of moving parts going on right here.
He told her she was very pretty and that he was something in the city, but she can't remember that.
There's a wild amount of counter melody going on here. Okay. Caught me off guard a little there. So the tempo is getting a little loose here. One of those human elements of the live recording. everybody's just playing their own thing right now. We definitely have a fade going on, but the bass doesn't. Maybe it's such a slow fade. It's kind of hard to pick out what was being faded and what is. But it seems like the master volume's going down on that one. So yeah. All right. So that was a wild track. Um. Yeah. So one thing that I really want to point out here, not necessarily unique to this song, but it's more indicative of the era and the technology, is that a lot of the stuff was recorded live to tape. And or vinyl. I mean, I guess. But anyways, yeah, it was a live recording, um, and you can hear a lot of that going on in here. Um, there are a couple of times, especially at the end, when the band wasn't necessarily completely in time with each other. And it was just like a little snippet, the bassist just, flubs his string and comes in, a hair early. Maybe the drummer lags a little bit on the snare hit, something like that. But there's a couple of parts where you can really hear that the band isn't 100% in time with everybody. It isn't that perfect in timeness that we get with modern music that we have. Our DAWs can just line everything up perfectly. There's this pristine capture of timing, but it's interesting because it's not a pristine capture of time, the moment. And I think that's something I really miss from early music. And we still have it today where people purposefully do things in single takes or whatever. But for the most part, we have a lot of overproduction going on in our music, and we end up losing a lot of this humanness to it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I really enjoy that, and I think it fits really well in with the themes of the music. It has that laid back kind of country thing going on. Just feels like a couple of people just sitting around a room jamming with each other. Speaking of jamming with each other, that end 100% feels like a jam. The drummer is filling at the end of every bar. The bassist is doing his own thing. The guitarist is shredding out a solo over all that, and the guitarist is just doing his own melody over there. And yeah, just feels like a big jam session, and I love that because knowing that this was most likely recorded live, a lot of that was probably improvised. Um, Maybe not entirely improvised, where it was all done on the spot. Maybe the bassist already knew, a rhythm he'd been practicing, and he really dug, and he just really likes the way it fits in. Mm, 8 bars for the end. He really likes the way this fits in there. He knows the drummer tends to do this at that section, so he's going to line that up or something like that. But I don't think the ending is. It doesn't feel like it was rehearsed. Like it's written and permanent. It definitely feels more jammy, and I dig that. Any band who, especially in rock, and pop metal, anything that's more rigid where they have a specific note they're going to play, especially since rock and metal tend to have written solos rather than improvised solos. I think it's really impressive to see bands go out on a limb and say, we know it's expensive to record this stuff, but we're gonna do it live anyways. We're gonna improvise a little bit, and I really dig the musicianship there to have that sort of I don't know, not necessarily. Well, some pride, just saying, we can do this, but the confidence to do that. to just say, we're going to go in here and we're going to improvise a little bit, and we might have to do another take. We might not, but we're not just going to play this rigid. There's going to be a little bit of a jam session to this. This is going to be a unique capturing of this song. So I really dig that. The overall song doesn't really change much. We have a very standard um, like chord progression that underlays the entire track, which kind of allows it to have that jammy session because you always know where the song's going to be. You can pretty much um, improvise or throw in, embellish, a note here and there wherever you want because the note really doesn't move much on the. Wow, that was loud. I don't know if you guys heard that. That was that thunder, lightning. Um, the song has this underlying DNA that just doesn't really change, and as long as you know what bar you're in of the phrase, you can pretty much throw in anything you want throughout the entire track. So, yeah, it's a little simple by that standard, but I think it really works. And you got to really think of it from the time too in the 70s. This was probably fairly progressive. Um, that that opening still blows my mind. Like it has nothing to do with the rest of the it. Well, it kind of has a little bit to do with the ending. The opening and the ending have a little bit of the same concepts within them, but at least we have the build up and we can kind of see the track evolve into that wide open sound at the end. It kind of comes out of nowhere and then disappears, and then we get what I see as like a proper beginning of the song. So yeah, just like wild concepts. I don't think any band we've done so far has basically started with a false opening. That's like, yeah, that blows my mind. That's cool stuff. Um, But yeah, the core of the song, like the middle 4 or 5 minutes, I guess, is pretty rudimentary rock stuff, rock country. I almost want to say like country. The middle is very country. The bookends are proggy rock stuff. The middle to me is kind of straight country, which is kind of a prog thing, right? Mixing of genres. Um, Not really much to say about the middle, but the beginning and the end are the things that I think are the most interesting aspects. One thing I do want to point out, though, is the schism in production quality between modern day and this, which was, close to 50 years ago. Yeah, my math's right, 50 years ago. Um, One thing I noted about the beginning, I didn't note it at the end, but it definitely cropped up again, is chaos. Now, there really isn't a lot going on. There are five, let's see, guitar, bass, organs, and drums. So there's four instruments that are all kind of vying for the spotlight. The guitar is kind of doing its thing. The bass is walking a fairly complex bass line, especially for the time period. The drums are doing fills regularly often, and the organ is, for the most part, kind of soloing in both sections. Well, at the climax of both sections, not necessarily throughout the entire portions. But due to the production at the time, it becomes a bit of a cluttered mess, and it becomes really difficult to hear what's happening. I've mentioned before when we've listened to some highly complex songs that I've given props to the engineers for making it sound clear. Because I've said something along the lines of it's very easy for that section to be written and performed and end up sounding muddy. This is what happens when you don't have modern day productions to audio workspaces, digital audio workspaces to fine tweak note by note sections like this. They can become very difficult to read, very difficult to listen to. I would actually really like to hear somebody, I was going to say if the stems exist. The stems don't exist. This is a single take recording put onto vinyl or tape or whatever, whatever they put it on at the time. There are no stems to this, I don't think. I am not 100% knowledgeable about that whole process of recording from this era, but I don't think they had individual recording of tracks. I think it was you record the room kind of. You have everybody gets their own microphone, but it's flattened down immediately in the recording process. I think that's how it worked. But I would love to hear a remastered version of this. Maybe we can get like someone could find a cover band who could do this and record everything individually, and then get a really good modern day mixer and engineer to work together to really make it listenable, because there's some really cool ideas going on there with counterpoint. Um, Even if it is kind of jammy and it's more of a coincidence when the melodic lines kind of line up properly. It does happen a couple of times, but it's really difficult to find those moments because of the chaos that's happening. And I think that if we could mix it and master it with modern day, ideologies and technology and stuff like that, we could end up with a very cool ending that would be a lot more readable, because there are some cool things in there. They're just really hard to pick out given, the technical, the lack of technology they had at the time. Um, but yeah, overall, I really dig this song. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. I can't say I'm going to go out and listen to a country prog rock thing from the 70s. Um, Especially given how chaotic the most interesting parts are and how difficult they are to listen to. I really enjoy what they were doing, and like I said, I kind of wish they were still around. If they are, I guess I don't know, 50 years maybe. I don't know. Anyways, I wish there was a way to listen to this remastered with modern technology and concepts, because I think there's some really cool stuff in there that can't really be heard due to the technology gap. But yeah, this is where you guys come in though. Let me know what you guys thought of Brinsley Schwarz. I don't know how to say that last name. Um, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, if you didn't enjoy it, I think it's some really cool early prog rock. I don't think we've had early prog rock. I want to say like maybe the 90s. Do we have some 90s Opeth already? I don't know if that's like hyper proggy, not like this. This is like the advent of prog. Um, However, Patreon's classic prog has been in the polls recently. If you guys want to get some Pink Floyd and some King Crimson King Diamond, I don't know, something like that, into this channel, you sign up as a Patreon, you get those votes in, we can get some classic prog up here. I think it's one of the few more popular genres that we really haven't touched on yet. Yeah, polls end on Sunday, so that's tonight. We got about 7 hours, 7 hours ish until, like, 5 to 7 hours until the polls close from the time that this video is uploaded, not from the time you watch it. From the time the video is uploaded, there's like 5 to 7 hours left before the polls close. So if you guys want to get out on that, if not, I'm pretty sure that prog rock, classic prog rock, was like second or third place. It was pretty close to first, so it'll show up next week as well. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow though. I have another song or two that I want to check out on my own, sort of a throwback to the old ways where I just pick things out of random, anything that interests me. That's what Sundays are really for now. And there's definitely some new stuff I want to check out. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual, with some personal things that I'd like to check out. Until then, you guys stay safe out there and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.